Get ready for the exciting showdown, the biggest names, the toughest competition, and the most thrilling moments. From the gridiron to hardwood and from the pitch to the track, join us for Sports Central, the most electrifying sports program on television, every weekday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon on Spectrum Television. Sports Central, your home for sports.
It's really lovely.
When in doubt, I guess just come forward.
Apparently,
2 for 2. We're going to topple a former champ. And there it is. Emma Navarro had only won 5 games in the previous 4 sets these two had played. Well, guess what? She's eclipsed that. Her 6th game gets her the opening set. And she has the 2023 champion in Beijing in a bit of trouble.
Good morning and welcome to Sports Central, brought to you live and exclusive on Spectrum Television from the beautiful hills of Ibiakure right here in Akwa Ibom State, also known as the land of promise. Well, talking about promises, well, Nigeria will look to fulfill their promise of getting to the 2026 FIFA World Cup later today when they take on Lesotho. Also in that group game would have South Africa facing their opponent as well. Talking about Zimbabwe. Well, Nigeria has received just a minor boost in their campaign as FIFA alongside CAF has made a minor tweak to Group G because Eritrea has pulled out of World Cup qualification. So lots of tweaks right there. Nigeria could finally have a chance to go through the playoff route. We'll talk about all of these and many more later on in the show. My name is Mfono Bongitina, and I'm excited to be saddled with the responsibility of opening the show this particular morning. It's a Friday edition. We'll just start with Sport Wrap-Up. Stick around.
Live coverage of the glamour tie of match week 2 in the UEFA Champions League as the excitement builds for the meeting of Barcelona and the holders Paris Saint-Germain. I'm also aiming to make it.
This morning we'll start with China, where for the first time Aryna Sabalenka has defeated Elena Rybakina in straight sets. The number 1 seed delivered a near flawless performance in the Wuhan Open quarterfinals, advancing 6-3, 6-3 in just 1 hour and 25 minutes. Coming into the match, Sabalenka had 7 wins and 5 losses head-to-head lead over Rybakina. Her victories had come on hard court, clear and grass. In Europe, Asia, Australia, and North America, but they had one thing in common. All 7 had been 3-set battles. That was less the case this time. Appropriately, Sabalenka's most decisive win in the series came at the tournament since she had dominated since 2019. The world number 1 improved the perfect record in Wuhan to 20 wins and no losses at all, and she's now just 2 wins away from a 4th title in as many appearances. The US Open champion is also on an active winning streak of 9 straight matches. Should get the chance to improve those numbers even more against number 6 seeded Jessica Pegula in the semifinals. She's 8 wins and 2 losses overall against the American, including 4 wins in the last 2 seasons. Now to the ATP scene, where Novak Djokovic has not had it easy at the 2025 Shanghai Masters, but the Serbian remains on course for a record-extending 5th title at the ATP Masters 1000. The former number 1 in the ATP rankings on Thursday overcame Zizou Bergs 6-3, 6-4 to book his semi-final spot in China. With his victory, the 38-year-old Serbian became the oldest semi-finalist in Masters 1000 history. Djokovic, who battled through a leg issue and exhaustion in the Shanghai heat during his 4th round win against John Muna, again struggled physically during the opening set against Bergs. Yet he shook off what appeared to be a problem with his left foot to advance to reach the last 4 at a Masters 1000 event for a record-extending 80th time. The Serbian ended the match having served 4 of 5 breakpoints he faced. He's now 27 wins and no losses at all for the season after winning the first set. Djokovic is now 2 wins away from a record-extending 41st Masters 1000 crown and his first since the 2023 Paris Masters. Standing between him and the sport in the Shanghai Championship match is Valentin Vacharo after the Monegasque qualifier earlier upset 10th seed Holgerun 2-6, 7-6, 6-4. Now to basketball, where LeBron James has been ruled out for up to 4 weeks and will miss the start of the NBA season with sciatica. Los Angeles Lakers have confirmed that James, who is 40, signed a new contract with the Lakers in June and is set to become the first player to play across 23 separate NBA seasons. Sciatica is a pain in the sciatic nerve that goes down the lower back and through the leg, and James has not taken part in preseason and missed the defeat against the Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns earlier this month because of the glute nerve irritation. The American is expected to be sidelined for all 5 of the Lakers games in October, including the season opener against Golden State. James, the NBA all-time leading scorer, has never previously missed the start of the season throughout his 22-year career in the NBA. And now to football, where Algeria has become the 4th African country to qualify for the 2026 World Cup. And guess what? All of them are from the north of the continent. A 3-0 win over Somalia on Thursday guaranteed Algeria's first place in Group G in African qualifying and a return to the World Cup for the first time since 2014. Algeria, captained by Riyad Mahrez and led by former Switzerland coach Vladimir Petkovic, joined neighboring nations Morocco, Tunisia, as well as Mohamed Salah's Egypt in securing a spot in next year's expanded 48-team tournament being held in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. It will be the 5th time for the Algerians at the World Cup, and they've only ever progressed from the group stage once, in 2014, where they lost to Germany in the round of 16. A total of 9 African teams will directly qualify and be in the World Cup tournament draw taking place on December the 5th in Washington, D.C. The 34-year-old Mahrez set up goals for Mohamed Amoura in the 6th and 58th minutes, either side of scoring himself with a fierce strike into the roof of the net in the 19th minute. Well, that report on World Cup qualifying ends our sport wrap-up this particular morning, but not to worry. The guys will join the conversation for what promises to be a very exciting day of talking about football and also non-football stories. Stick around.
live coverage of the glamour tie of Champions League this season. Scored 5 goals.
In this pragmatic at times, even though they do like to go forward.
Chance to attack here for PSG. The teasing ball, Portuguese left back. At the other end of the pitch, who's in his first year at PSG. And there's backing off initially. And Yamal trying to go past him. There's been a late change to the Paris Saint-Germain. Now Olmo, Koundé made
unceremoniously told that he's not need.
It's a dangerous corner, and Zabani attacked it very well. Mayulu.
Nuno Mendes. Hakimi up against Gerard Martin.
Opportunity in the absence of Marquinhos.
Pass there by Yamal for Ferran Torres, beyond the goalkeeper, and the block was by Zabani.
You know, how many times have we seen that?
The pass in behind again, this time for Dani Olmo. This is Mbaye with that turn of Pedri. Rashford, it's Ferran Torres! It's a beautifully worked goal for Barcelona. Well, Vitinha gave the ball away, and he was made to pay. Barca's passing there was exquisite. And Ferran Torres with that finishing touch.
Yeah, it was a brilliant goal. Vitinha picking the wrong option. But from then on, it was all class.
Not again with that trademark ball. Here goes Barca with the pace in behind for PSG. But Pedri couldn't quite. 4 years ago now. Mainly used off the bench last season. To Barca. Barca's ball in. Galloping from right back. The track to. Now it's Olmo, and he kept it low, and it deflected away and behind.
A lot of these players wouldn't be playing.
Mbaye. Lamine Yamal. Going for the ball. Lamine Yamal with the corner. Continues. Yamal with the ball into a great area. It's Hakimi, and it's Chesney who has to palm it behind for a corner.
Yeah, sensible from the goalkeeper, just helping it on its way. We've seen Ansu Fati in the past get injured, you know, so.
This is Mayulu, that's deflected, and the game. Here's the resulting corner, into tormenting Zabani, getting past him too, but up against Zabani. Now Mbaye. Rashford challenge, that's a foul by Rashford. Long time this season.
Yeah, he's out for another long time, isn't he? Yeah.
Look at him skip away, and that turn of pace too by Nuno Mendes. Wonderful play by him. So free. Zaire Emery. Koundé. Oh. He can't link up though with Zaire Emery.
Knows the full story.
The home of their reserve team. Chance to level the game here, and the chance taken. PSG a level through Seni Mayulu. Well, he's just 19 years of age. He came off the bench and scored in the final last season, and he's levelled this game tonight. It's one apiece.
Yeah, and to a certain extent you could see it coming, couldn't you? I know Barcelona have been on top, but I still feel that they're very open to runners. And this is all about Nuno Mendes. Got a kick on his Achilles before, but he's recovered incredibly quickly. Look at him here, he's off. Koundé
towards Vitinha again. Collision there off the ball. It's beyond Ruiz. This is Barcola. It's done well. Bradley Barcola. Olmo. Now Ferran Torres with the back heel to Barcola. And now Hakimi over that. Here's Yamal. Brushed off it, and a foul's been committed there by Rashford dancing away on the cutback. Just a bit too close, those PSG defense pass. Pedri on the move.
Blistering football display. Some of those players are better rested as well.
Crosses by Fabian Ruiz, the head. Opened it. Yamal. This is a wonderful run by and it's still going. And just an outstretched poke of his face. Barkler will go it alone and sting the fingertips of Szczesny. Mayulu. This is Rashford. He's found some space here, Ashraf Hakimi. He'll have missed the saddle, his fitness regime commit. Pedri. Nuno Mendes with the corner. Nuno Mendes now back onto his right foot. Again, happy to toss it forwards when by. Wise for Luis Enrique to concede. It's a little isolated. Fed by Zaire. Torres once more. Rashford waits, away by Zabani. Olmo, fantastic stop. Lamine Yamal. Rashford with the free kick. One-on-one with Nuno Mendes for a change. Lamine Yamal goes down, free kick. Nuno Mendes has been shown a yellow card. One from goal scorer to goal preventer. And Lamine Yamal, yes, that is quite sure of him. Zaire Emery trying to thread it through, but going to sit Dizzy back from Mayulu. Barkler, just excellent goal-scoring records. He's dug it back for Fabian Ruiz, didn't really get home. For Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo.
That'll do it for Emma Navarro. One of the biggest victories of her career. Her 6th top 10 win as she topples Iga Swiatek and ensures the pole is perfect no more in China. Swiatek's 8-0 record at the China Open comes to an end as she suffers her first loss at the hands of the...
Broadening your horizon is what every living being not only genuinely desires, but heartily pursues and intentionally invests in. For in the gathering of men, only those whose minds are in tune with the dynamics of the past, present, and future innovations, inventions, politics, and governance are respected. We are Spectrum Television, and broadening your horizon is our obsession. Risk on your decoder now to connect Spectrum Television on the frequency 12589, symbol rate 26250. That is frequency 12589, symbol rate 26250. Polarization horizontal, and join our online community at spectrumtvlive.ng. For further enquiries, please call 0704 158 5642 or 0704 541 7707. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Get ready for the exciting showdown, the biggest names, the toughest competition, and the most thrilling moments. From the gridiron to hardwood, and from the pitch to the track. Join us for Sports Central, the most electrifying sports program.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to another exciting time. We'll talk about the best of stories in the world of sports. It is Sports Central, and my name is Blyden Okem. Exciting times ahead. The guys are seated on the table of greatness, ready for this one, and ready for what will bubble at the end of it. Today, the big game takes place. It will be Nigeria taking on Lesotho. And many anticipation and calculators for Nigerians, especially with a recent update from CAF that we hear that possibly because Eritrea did not withdrew from the competition of qualifiers to the 2026 World Cup, and that teams, the point they gathered from the lowest ranked team in their groups would be dropped out. And many are saying it could favor the Super Eagles of Nigeria. It will be part of a conversation to really talk about it. But the Super Eagles have really put Nigerians to be mathematicians at this point. Well, it's basically what comes with the world of football in particular. And while in the world of sports, we'll talk about the world of tennis, the excitement in the world of tennis, the Wuhan Open taking center stage, which is a prelude to what could happen moving to the year-end competition. A battle between Arena Sabalenka, not necessarily Arena Sabalenka, but we're talking about Jessica Pegula. We're talking about Rybakina, Elena Rybakina in that direction, and Jasmine Paulini, and we're talking about Mira Andreeva, all contesting to find the 3 spots left for qualification towards the year-end competition in Riyadh. For the conversation, we'll also look at the Shanghai Open. Novak Djokovic making history for the first time since 2023, finding a way to qualify, get to the quarterfinals of the Shanghai Masters Open. It would be a thick conversation today. I mean, well, Utube David, good morning. So good to see you today. Funny Tina in that direction. Good morning, Utube.
Well, an exciting time to return, Blyden, this morning. Talking about the Africa qualifiers for the FIFA World Cup yesterday. Another team was also confirmed. So we're talking about 4 teams right now to speak, qualifying for the World Cup. Medicine looking forward to more matches being played. But I think it's the time for look at Nigeria now. Not in the perspective personally for me about qualification, but I'm looking forward to see how Eric Sekuchel, of course, uses particular boys, because we're talking about 1 month. Before the start of the AFCON. So a whole lot to look forward to in the game.
Funny Tina, good morning.
Exciting day to be back. Let's just get to it.
Let's hit the ground running then. We begin from the world of tennis. One key exciting story, well, it's not in the books, but I have to bring it in, be part of it. What made the very fact that the Australian Open bring an exhibition match, a $1 million exhibition match. Carlos Alcaraz has been named alongside 21 other pros, and then 10 amateurs across Australia would be added to it. And a game a match would last just by 1 point. So anybody that makes a save, after the save you win, you won the match. So it goes to the next and the next and the next. And $1 million in that direction, that's a big one. I don't know, guys, if you've heard about it. But a new exhibition match is coming in, and what it means is there's going to be a format, what's it call it now, but where a paper scissor is made, and in that direction to determine who saves or who receives the save. So one game, not necessarily a game we're talking about a 1 point in tennis. So the winner of it goes to the next round. So for you to win, you have to be consistent, and amateurs are going to be part of it. I don't know. Funny Tina might even apply for this one. It would make a lot of sense. You guys do not follow it, but it's quite interesting. But let's get to the real talking point and talk about these other one. It would be the Wuhan Open. Arena Sabalenka, world number 1, having to post the first stretch set victory over Elena Rybakina. And we're thinking that it would be a game that Elena Rybakina maybe gets to bring surprises in this one, but it's not really happening at the end of it, because she's battling to make the number to qualify for the year-end competition.
Well, I think for Sabalenka, it's been coming for her. She's had 7 wins over, Elena Rybakina at this point in just 5 losses, but she's never gone past the Lady Rybakina in stretch sets. It's always going to be a difficult encounter for her, but this time around she made it look easy for herself, and that's just the case. Unlike Jessica Pegula, who's been needing 3 sets to win her last 6 games, Sabalenka has won this particular game in stretch sets over Rybakina. Now she's now in the finals of the the semi-finals of the Wuhan Open, but she might make it to the final at the end of it, because she's been the most dominant woman. When we talk about the Wuhan China Open currently, she's the most dominant, currently active Chinese player at the moment. So when you look at it, the likes of Cory Kukugov, Iga Swiatek, all of them, they've not done what Arena Sabalenka has done when it comes to the Wuhan Open. She's won it quite a number of times. She's had 20 wins at the Wuhan Open. It shows you the level of dominance. So this might just be another one for her to maybe get before the WTA finals.
Well, to David, I know we get to talk about up next what gets to happen, but we're talking about the likes of Jessica Pegula, a rated player from the United States of America, the Wuhan Open, getting the better of Sinakova in this one. You get the numbers. Well, a 3-setter in it at the end of it after losing the first set, absolutely. About the second set, winning 6-love and the third 6-3. Up next would be against Arena Sabalenka.
Well, I think it's very difficult to say the lady will be able to get the better of Sabalenka at the moment, because Sabalenka, take nothing away from her. I think, well, I would say she's in the moment of her life, despite looking at the fact that the last time she also played in the major competition was a month ago before returning to the Wuhan Open. So many will think she would have actually had very rough patch or very rough start to life at the Wuhan Open, but it never happened. We saw the first game just a couple of days ago. We talked about her, and here again she's also blistering against another top opponent, Elena Rybakina. But I think it would also be quite a very good game to look forward to, especially for Pejula, because at the moment she's also gotten a whole lot of momentum, despite not being able to also win in stress sets, dropping some some points, and also being able to gather momentum and even winning at the end of those particular last set of the game. So I think at the moment Zabalenka, nothing really stops her. I do not think Pejula can actually stop the lady Zabalenka at the moment. She would definitely go through to the next stage, and maybe we should be looking at the likes of Coco Gauff and Iga Swiatek if they will be able to stop Zabalenka.
Well, now we've mentioned Iga Swiatek now. The game next, quarterfinals at center court would be Jasmine Paolini, the Italian who's 7th at this competition, against world number 2 Iga Swiatek, the Polish player in this. Well, a big battle to really look forward to today. Arena Sabalenka now getting the semi-finals. Coco Gauff also moving to the semi-finals after getting better of Sigmund. And we're talking about Iga Swiatek against Jasmine Paolini. Well, funny thing, I've seen it. It seemed like in recent times, Iga Swiatek hasn't been that dominant as she used to be. But we talk about a Wuhan Open, still a dominant force to talk about. Jasmine Paolini is battling, hoping that if she get a victory, she might qualify for the year-end competition. 5 players have qualified already. Iga Swiatek, Sansanova. We're talking about Arena Sabalenka, Coco Gauff, and a few others, and Madison Keys also qualifying. So 3 sports left. 4 players are battling with it. Mira Andreeva was beaten on Tuesday out of it by Sigmund, but Sigmund has lost today to Coco Gauff, and we're talking about a big battle now between Iga Swiatek and Jasmine Paolini.
Well, I think for Iga Swiatek now, she's just trying to get herself in top gear ahead of that WTA finals. For Jasmine Paolini, she needs it more, because she needs it to qualify for the WTA finals, and she would always want to make it to the finals. So it might just boil down to who has the biggest motivation, who wants to get this. Look at Iga Swiatek, she might not really have a reason. I think the gap between her and Arena Sabalenka is quite huge at the moment. No matter what happens, Arena Sabalenka might just end the year as world number 1. So that's not really going to push her to do more. She's done this before. So
winning the title won't be a motivation for her.
Well, I would say winning the Wuhan would just be another win for her this particular year. She's already won a Grand Slam. This is just a 1,000 level competition. So
1,000 Masters is big though.
I know, but at the end
prize
of it,
money also being a part of it. Don't forget. It's not just about winning the title. You got to win big money at the end of it.
That's true. I'm comparing her motivation with Jasmine Paolini. Jasmine Paolini needs to win to qualify for something. So she might just give it her best out there. But for what's her name now, Iga Swiatek is just going to be another day in the office for her. So it might just be who wants it more at the end of it. That's why I'm inching towards the lady Jasmine Paolini.
I know crime inching towards the lady Jasmine Paolini, but it can roll away money as a big motivation when it has to do it and making the calls about how you want to talk about it is something really big. Well, we're going to talk about a talking point now, moving from Wuhan, and we're talking about Shanghai Open now, as Novak Djokovic, a top tennis player, 24 Grand Slam champion in that direction, also topping Bex for Masters 1000 history. Well, part of the history that I've really followed, yes, he's gotten a number ahead. He's not lost the game this year so far.
After he has won the first set.
All right, after he's won the first set, because I heard when you're talking about it during the sports wrap-up, I'm beginning to wonder how he got that level of form. Anyway, so about a conversation is selecting games that is participating in recent times with David. But the other hand is Novak Djokovic got a better of Bex. He struggled a bit in this tournament with the likes of Halfman and Moran in this particular one, having to qualify now and getting to this point now and getting this victory. I hear it's going to be the first Masters on ATP tour level for him since 2023. And it's that big concern that he's back on the hard court and getting victory.
Well, I think it's quite good for the Novak Djokovic. Despite the struggle, still find ways of winning games. I mean, Novak Djokovic of time past, you would of course look at the likes of Zizo Bex, look at the likes of Halfman. You expect clean slate. I mean, over those not so top opponents. But these days, really difficult, because every single young player who's coming, whether you've got quality or not, you just want to match the intensity of Novak Djokovic. And we've actually seen in recent times.
And it was a master of intensity.
Absolutely. We've seen in recent times the intensity also dropping. So if you match that intensity, you're definitely going to have the better of Novak Djokovic in this one. And just like I've always said every time, 24 Grand Slam singles title, a very good motivator to make it 25 at least. But I still begs the question when exactly will happen. But I think if it actually goes maybe to the semis or to the finals of this particular competition, it will be a very big motivator for the man Novak Djokovic. Intensity no longer there, but I think the name stays in the brains of many for a very long time. The man has still got some level of quality, and I just want to see how far he can actually go in this one.
Well, let's see how far Novak Djokovic will go in this one when it has to do with the Shanghai Open. In recent times, he selects the kind of competition he's participated. Really hard to thank the fans because the fans were cheering him on, even in difficult situations. They're just struggling to be very fit in the course of the games, having time out trying to check his body and see if it's still good to go in this one. Well, let's talk about a big player now. Not so big in terms of ranking point. He's ranked 204 in the world. We're talking about Vacheron, a cousin to Rakitic, but he's performing quite well. Comes from Monaco, and he'll be up next for Novak Djokovic. Let's talk about this one for the now because the records are stacked for him. If you look at the ranking point, I might say he shouldn't be high up there against the best, but the Shanghai Open is done quite well, beating Horjarun. And when he beat Horjarun and crossed to this level, that's something to talk about. Up next, it will be Vacheron against Novak Djokovic.
End of the road for the man, unfortunately. But I think Vacheron has made a name for himself. The past two tournaments, the last one he left in the quarterfinals, and now he's made it to the quarterfinals, and he's going to face Novak Djokovic in the semi. I think it's going to be a dream come true for him. Man is quite a late bloomer. You'd expect this kind of rise for someone who's probably 18, 19, or 20. But man is 26 already, so not many years left for him, some would say, because 26 would be at least with a Grand Slam victory in your career, or maybe a pro-level competition.
You can't play tennis at 30-something now.
Well, I know, but you don't hear players, making their breakthrough at 26. So it's very surprising to see for Vacheron, and I don't see a way where he can maintain that level. I just feel he got lucky. 2025 might just be that a lucky year for him, especially with the whole family connection, also Rinderknech as well, roommates, cousins, and they all made it to the quarterfinals of this particular championship. So quite exciting time for Valentin Vacheron. But at the end of it, when you face Novak Djokovic, a man who wants to win his first tour level championship for the first time in a long while, I think it's just going to be a step too big, a boot too big for this young man Vacheron to feel.
Well, one of the conversations has been the fact that Novak Djokovic has struggled a bit at this competition itself. He's really struggled. So let's get to see what happens with Vacheron, despite all the form, up against Novak Djokovic. Well, it seems like some of these young players are adding up the number of the Asian swing, especially this particular competition. The likes of Bex that we talked about when Djokovic got a victory over. It's been the best year for Bex for me. I think around 45, there about 44 in the world. But for Bex, first time this year, he's gotten to the final twice. Went to the third round of US Open, but from all indications, it's been the best performance for him, and it makes all the difference. The likes of Rakitic is a cousin to Vacheron, played and got a victory against Felix Auger-Aliassime. Naturally, you want to say Felix Auger-Aliassime will get a victory against Rakitic. He's been in super form in recent times, having that victory 6-3, 6-4. And Danny Medvedev would take on Alex de Minaur later in the day. It's that conversation. And quickly, let's move further and talk about one last talking point before we get to talk about football stories. And what be that a big man, LeBron James, in the world of basketball, is set to miss the start of NBA season, and with Skatika. Well, some of these issues, the name they carry anyway, Skatika, I was hearing from talk about it. They said it has something to do with the nerve during the sports wrap was giving him pain. But a big man would be missing out is that conversation, LeBron James. And Skatika is...
I hear sciatica.
Or sciatica.
From someone who has experienced it before.
Okay, a sciatica. Quite interesting anyway. Medical terms here and there, but it has something to do with nerve endings when it has to do with foot. So causing him lots of pain if he wants to run is something difficult. I've never had this kind of injury in football, maybe in basketball, but partly also I thought of something I wanted to share with you guys. In the world of tennis, there's been a conversation about the court slowing down. The likes of Federer coming in, giving lots of argument. And the argument many people are bringing says tennis court are slowing down, and most people are arguing that they're doing this, or directors of tournament organizers are doing it in favor of Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz because they want to get to the finals. It's been such a debate in the world of tennis and making all the rounds, but just for the mention in the course of the show. And now we'll go on a quick break, and when we're back, it will be football stories all around the world. The Super Eagles of Nigeria will be taking on Lesotho today. Rather, it would be Lesotho against the Super Eagles of Nigeria. It will be a conversation when we return from the break. Don't go anywhere.
Get ready for the exciting showdown, the biggest names, the toughest competition, and the most thrilling moments. From the gridiron to hardwood and from the pitch to the track, join us for Sports Central, the most electrifying sports program on television, every weekday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon on Spectrum Television. Sports Central, your home for sports.
Welcome back here to Sports Central. And my name is Blyden Kim. Funny to know to be there with you and me for company going nowhere. And now we're going to talk about football stories around the world, the excitement that comes with the world of football. And we're always going to try to do catch up in this one. But let's go as fast as possible. Well, today it would be the World Cup qualifiers, 2026 World Cup qualifiers between Lesotho and Nigeria. And many hopes are online today as kickoff time is set to take place. A multiple observation is that if Nigerian players, about 6 players, they pick a yellow card in this game, they would miss the Benin game for Nigeria. Talking about Adema Lukman, Tuoloro Kodare, Simi Ajayi, who else being part of that mix, about 6 of them, Calvin Bassi and Bruno Yamachi, and one other player, I skipped my mind now, but about 6 of them, if they pick a yellow card in this one, they're missing the next game. So guys, let's start a conversation. What are we expecting in today's encounter?
Well, I think, first of all, I think I'm actually looking at Nigeria, you know, having very, very impressive and dominant performance against, you know, the Lesotho side. Not so big enough in terms of quality, maybe like-for-like quality against the Nigerian players. Yes, I would say that again. And then I'll also look at the very fact that it is a neutral ground for Lesotho, using South Africa, Polokwane to be very precise for the game. So I think it also, you know, paves with 50-50 game opportunity for Nigeria to try and make something count out of that game. They don't have any excuses at the moment. 2 games crucial on the line at the moment. I just feel Nigeria should get the battle of Lesotho first before we can start looking at, you know, Benin, you know, Republic. All eyes will be on the magnetic circle, the level of you know, approach he has to the game, whatever his ideas will be. Many Nigerians are also hoping that all of these ideas will go as expected. But as we always expect, Nigeria have to win today.
Nigeria has to win today. Funny Tina, what are we expecting in this one? What happens? What are the stack against the Super Eagles of Nigeria? You see Lesotho, I might have said, well, second bottom there at this competition, but they played Nigeria. First game of this qualifiers in Nigeria, they pulled a draw, yeah. I might have said, no, Victor Osimhen part of it, but the Lesotho guys have come out, the coach, the captain of South have come out during the press conference and said, we're not scared of Nigeria, we're ready for them.
Well, I think Lesotho are going to get beaten by the Super Eagles of Nigeria. It's written in stone for me, because when you look at Nigeria, I think since the beginning of this year, after what's his name now, Jose Peseiro was sacked, I think Nigeria started performing well. But then I'll still stand by my thought. I'm not making excuses for the Super Eagles, but I feel if the World Cup qualifiers were to start now, I would have so much confidence in this side. The World Cup qualifiers spanned over a time where we're missing some of our big names. Some of the matches, Adema Lukman was not even part of them. Victor Osimhen has been out of, I think he's played only 4 or 5 of the World Cup qualification matches for Nigeria. Adema Lukman was not part of that team that played for Finidi George. So when you look at it, I think probably those were not the best time for Nigeria, and that's why we are where we are at the moment. It's not an excuse, it's what it is in football. But for Nigeria against Lesotho tonight, this evening, I think it's going to be quite exciting, and Nigeria should look to score more goals. Victor Osimhen will look to add to his goal tally. The man is quite inching closer towards breaking that record of Rashidi Yekini. I'm really hoping that he gets to do that quite early in his career, so the pressure does not pile up on him later on in his career. This is Semi Ajayi is going to miss. He's online too. If he gets a yellow card, he misses the next game. It's quite surprising because he's not been part of the team for quite a long time.
Yeah, the first game the Super Eagles played in the qualifiers against Lesotho, I picked a yellow card he played in that
I thought that was the reason why coaches had the prerogative to, you know, drop a player in the very next game, so that you know, line of yellow cards.
Well, he wasn't dropped, he got injured.
Well, maybe that's that makes sense.
So So that's it. But basically what it is, a couple of changes gets to happen, and postulation, something to really look forward to with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. One of the players couldn't join the camp. He's in Nigeria waiting to join them because of one of the newly players in the squad. Yeah, luckily, absolutely, that's the name. Couldn't join the squad. Well, still talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Well, the AFCON camp for the Super Eagles of Nigeria gets to open December 10 for the Nations Cup, and will be in Morocco. So preparation will be top game. Qualifiers seem to be part of the preparation, and Nigeria still have a lineup of friendly matches to follow through against Venezuela and others before the qualifiers. And quickly, let's talk about Algeria. North African sides have been quite dominant when it has to do with FIFA qualifiers, the World Cup qualifiers now. And now Algeria joining Egypt, Morocco, Tunisia. A dominant performance after beating Somalia 3-0. And now they're in the World Cup. Well, question is what's happening to West Africa, East Africa, and the rest of them. Because 4 teams from Africa have met the cut to the World Cup, and all of them are North African sides. Won't dwell on it. And well, let's have a little bite on this now. When you talk about international friendly, it has to do with Saka. A stoner for England against Wales. 41 years of Senate, Wales have not been able to beat England. Somehow the last time it happened was in May 1984. And when Wales got a victory 1-0 over England, but it's not happened again since then. 41 years, and Saka and the rest of the English contingent scoring this goal. 3 massive 0 at the end of it. And the coach of the side have said, look, Noni Madueke and Saka are giving him headache in selection, because previous game Noni was fantastic for them.
Well, I think it's quite good for healthy competition, especially for Bukayo Saka, who has also been quite inconsistent. I know thanks to injury this particular season, and then you have another player who could also deputize for them as well. This was an international friendly game, as they are looking forward to play one more World Cup qualifiers before club football beckons once again. So it is good to put the boys back on track. Momentum also, gathered for, Thomas Tuchel's boys. And then up next would be a very consequential battle for them. And I think the English national side with Bukayo Saka, they look even more complete now, because we're talking about squad depth with lots of choices. I mean, you have to take your chances to be able to play for 90 minutes. Otherwise, you're sopped off and another person comes in. Yeah. So I think for Bukayo Saka, it's good for him. No,
a big improvement for Noni Madueke. At the time he was at Chelsea Football Club, not many people saw him as that important player, but it's really changed the narrative. Moved to the next club, and things are changing for him. Can consistency be the thing for him? That will be the question. I mean, well, Tottenham have announced £100 million injection, and Lewis family reiterates ambition. So Tottenham Hotspur, usually regarded as average team in English football, about pumping money into it.
They're scared.
Yeah.
Because I said the last week or earlier this week, there was actually a bid from a firm to buy Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah. They rejected it. So the fans were actually calling them to, leave. And now they're injecting money into it so that they can actually calm the fans down.
And Danny Levy left the side anyway.
Absolutely.
He didn't leave, he was sacked.
Okay. Say what you want to say anyway. But let's talk about a man that's been refused. Well, they've been delayed about his sack. The management are saying we're not going to sack this man, when fans are saying he should be sacked, and he's not removed. Manchester United boss Amorim, he needs 3 years to prove himself. Mfonitina discussed.
Well, I think for Ruben Amorim, it's been quite a slow start July for him. Should I say so? I think it's, let me just be fair, it's been slow. I'll not say disappointed, it's been slow. And when you understand...
You want to say disappointing?
Yeah, I'm not going to say that.
Look at the cameras and say it again.
Ralph Ragnick came to Manchester United and he made a statement that Manchester United needs an open heart surgery. From what I saw last year, I think that was the open heart surgery for Manchester United. You have to be very unsentimental. You have to take your mind away from even the performances you've seen. I think that was the open heart surgery Manchester United needed.
Let me interrupt you. What's been the change? Because I know, as at last week, you said this man should be shocked. This man is not doing quite well, quite disappointing. And this week, you're saying after the management have said, well, the man stays, you've changed your stand.
I think it's easier to be unsentimental when you're not watching Manchester United play. Probably next weekend, I might be saying a different thing. That's just it. Because when I watch Manchester United, I cannot just be unsentimental.
Okay.
But now
so
I've
the international
got
break has made a difference.
So I can just look at it now. I know you have to be very real with yourself. Look at Manchester United. If Manchester United are persevered with the likes of Marcus Rashford, Alejandro Garnacho, all those players, it will be quite difficult for us. You might just... It happened with Ten Hag. At a point, these players would pick form and they would want to play for you. But at some point, they would throw you under the bus. This man came to Manchester United, sent them all out. it's now left for the board to invest for the man, get him players. He doesn't have a midfield.
All right,
at the point.
Ultimate David, they've gotten him some players anyway, the players of his choice at this time, invented kind of wingers coming in, Buemo and Cogna being part of it, and the striker Shesko. Funny thing I say is he's not disappointed. What's your stand on all of this? He's staying for 3 years. Hopefully it gets to happen. We know things happen quickly in football, but this is the longest delay with bad performance that I've seen.
Well, I think every Manchester United fans will be disappointed with the results because
funny thing isn't.
It is not about the system, but I think if the results are coming in quite handy, many United fans will be complaining about the system at the moment. So when you're not playing really well and you're not getting that result, there is also seemingly pressure on the manager and even the players to do better.
There'll be improvement?
Well, I can say, because I can actually judge them against the performance against Sunderland. They will face Liverpool after the international break. Let's see how they perform there. Then we can actually say whether or not they are better.
As we set to close, we hear that Barcelona is seeking to seek closer UEFA ties after Super League failure. On this same conversation, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and some of the big teams who are looking for Super League. On the other hand, FIFA World Cup Infantino says everyone should be open-minded about scheduling. Enough of this complaint. And part of the thing he said was that if the UEFA Champions League, first time it came out, it made about 40 million euros revenue. Now it's a 5 billion euros revenue for the Champions League. And he said, look, the Club World Cup, when it all started out, the first edition made 2 billion euros. He said, trust me, in 30 years it's going to make 200 billion euros. So it's all about money. So he said, forget about the scheduling problem. It's all about money. I mean, while struggling, Germany, they need a win after win in World Cup qualifier. We don't have time to talk about Germany, but we have to draw the curtains here. Thank you for being a part of it. Whichever David, thank you. And Fontina, thank you.
A pleasure.
I think it's quite sad we didn't have time to talk about Victor Osimhen. That debacle with Napoli and Lille, I read, I did the research, and it's quite sad. Maybe we'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later. It's something I really thought we'll talk about. It wasn't in the books anywhere, and it skipped me. But it's such a big debacle. We're going to talk about. Maybe on Monday we talk about all of that, but we'll sure talk about it on radio. Thank you for being a part of it. My name is Blyden Kim, and ciao, ciao.